Okay, I know we don't have that many people on today, but we will go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, thanks for coming. As you know, this is the resume building meeting for Medcore. If you have any questions during, feel free to private message me or send a general message in the chat. I'll moderate it, and we'll also have time for questions at the end. And we also have a fun Kahoot at the end for you guys. So just stay until then, and we hope you guys learned something new from today.
So we'll start with what is a resume, a CV. So a resume is like a document that shows all your qualifications and experiences so that if you apply to summer programs, internships, and later on after college or something, if you apply to jobs, your employers know what you've done, what makes you qualified for that position, and why you deserve to be there. Um, so they oftentimes this will be like your first impression on the employers, which is why it's so important that it's good and that you do it with all your effort. So don't take it lightly. So how to create a CV or resume. So first at the top, you want to list your email, your phone, your name, and basically all of your personal information, and specifically your contact stuff, so that if employers do want to get back to you, they know where to reach you. And as of in high school, you also want to list your education at the very top, unless you've had any other more important experiences. But so this can be high school, this can be any courses you've taken outside of school, and things like that. And after education, you can include professional experience. So if you have held any internships or jobs in the past, as well as any summer programs could possibly count as professional experience. So that's where you put there. And finally, you have other achievements. So this includes awards that you've earned from competitions and stuff, volunteering, any articles that you've gotten published, and other skills that you think are important to the resume and that might help you get that job.
So we have some like general tips on how you should draft your CV. So one general guideline is that you should try to limit it to one page. It's usually okay if you go a little bit over, but it's strongly recommended that you keep it to one page. And you really want to be concise with what you say on your summary because this isn't really like a college essay or anything. The whoever's reviewing it just wants to know exactly what you did and what you gained out of the experience. So be sure to be straight to the point about it, and then also bold and underline or italicize um, to kind of distinguish what you're trying to say. So you might have like a different subcategory on your resume. So like one thing could be medically related volunteering, and another thing could be like um, health, any other type of experience. Or like one could be internships. So be sure to like bold and italicize the headings so people can understand the differences between each of your experiences, and also be sure to focus on a positive attitude in your performance because you really want to show that you're really positive about the things that you've done. And then another thing is to use action verbs such as constructed, researched, developed. So you want to just use like a verb to kind of describe what you've actually done through this experience. So yeah, like I stated, you could also have a separate section for like your club leadership at like school, and also like other organizations that you might be a part of outside of school. And then be sure to list your activities chronologically, or they have to have some sort of order that makes sense. Usually I don't see it by order of importance that much. Usually it's listed by chronological order in each of your subcategories. And then you can also add more sections to describe like any other skills, like what I've said. So yeah, so make sure you keep using engaging action verbs like you researched something or you developed a new medication or something like that. Another really important thing to do is to quantify your accomplishments. So instead of saying you donated like lots of masks to a hospital or you created lots of meals for to give to a homeless shelter, you want to say like I donated 600 meals to this homeless shelter. Or I donated 500 masks to this hospital, because that shows like a tangible accomplishment that you've actually done. And then, so we've kind of repeated over and over that you need to be concise, and that's really true because nobody's trying to read like an entire paragraph about what you've done. They're just trying to see what you've gained. And be sure not to use the word I. Rather, you should just dive straight into it because there's also a word count on a lot of stuff, such as Common App and stuff, where you'd be copy pasting stuff from your resume into it. And using I just seems kind of unprofessional as well. You just want to say, delve in, look right with the verb. So here's an example of how you should describe like a research experience. So you see like published, applied, and awarded are kind of action verbs. And then it gets straight to the point here. It tells you exactly what the researcher has done and the skills that you've gained, and then an accomplishment that you've gotten, such as like the exceptional marks by the Journal of COVID-19 Research.
Yeah, so here's some common mistakes, the 3 most common mistakes that people make when writing their resumes. The first one is typos, grammar errors, and inconsistencies with, say, like your LinkedIn profile or something. So for that last one, a lot of times employers will check your LinkedIn profiles, although that might not apply to summer programs. So it's important to recheck your resume every time you send it so that you can fix any of these mistakes and make sure that it's up to date and you don't have anything missing from it that you've added somewhere else. Also, and sometimes people will put the wrong dates or the wrong position descriptions on the resume, so check for those as well. The second is using vague description without any like evidence or too much filler. And like Shriyansh explained earlier, you want to make it concise but straight to the point. And so you want to use tangible facts and specificities, like in the description examples that Shriyansh showed us previously. And finally, one of the biggest mistakes is making a resume too long. So people who are reading your resume don't actually want to read through like 3-4 pages. They just want to see you highlight your most important experiences so that they know why you're good for that job. So like Shriyansh said earlier as well, you want to keep it to maybe one maximum of a little more than 1 page. So that's why you want to have proper descriptions that are summaries, and you don't want to include things that are obvious or not relevant to the job you're applying to.
Yeah, so pretty much this is the main outline you want to use for your resume. So some essential ways that you want to split it up. So obviously you need your basic info, like your first name and your last name. You can choose to put your address, your phone number, and your email. So that's used for easy contact, and sometimes your location as well. Education is also an essential part. You want to state where you went to high school, how long you've been going there, and usually if you're still like a high schooler, you would add current, and then you would add your GPA, either weighted or unweighted or both. This is also the section where you would add like your Ohlone dual enrollment classes or any other like college classes you've taken that have credit. Then you would list out your achievements and awards. So this includes like National Honor Society, anywhere you've become like a finalist or some sort of notable achievement. And then you would add like work and volunteer experience. So pretty much this would be areas that you would add your nonprofits in, or places that you spend time where you put in work, or even employment that's relevant and you believe will actually contribute to your overall skills. And then you would add your extracurricular activities that could include school clubs or anything along those lines. So pretty much this is an example of a resume. So you see that they're very concise descriptions. The most bullet points she uses is about 3 to 4, which is really important because you don't want to add that much information. You want to cut it down, and obviously the activities that you want to place more emphasis on, you would describe more in detail. But then you see smaller things like cross country, which are pretty self-explanatory. If you don't have specific awards, or for example, debate, if you had to list it, you would add stuff like I'm a competitor in this section, or I'm a delegate, etc. It's also visually appealing. Nothing specifically like hurts your eyes. You use legible fonts, but they're varying styles. So you have capitalization, you have bolding, you have italics to like emphasize different segments of the resume. It's also clearly divided into logical order. You can see different segments. You can see this is the summary. This is just a small bit about who I am. For example, you are a driven student who wants to pursue a career in medicine. Then you have your education with your relevant coursework, which is also something you should list on. So what are some like relevant courses you're taking? For example, as a sophomore, you would add like, I'm taking chemistry honors, I'm taking this math class. You would add in your past classes as well. For example, for science, you would add in like biology honors, etc. Then you add in your activities. This is more school-based, or you can add in like outside activities that you believe are relevant, your service. So this is places where you've got like volunteer experience. And something that isn't listed on this resume because you don't see it as often is also you can add in some work experience, or you can add in your like summer internships underneath a different segment if you believe it's really important. Then you have your skills and your awards listed at the bottom. So of course, this is one format of a resume. It genuinely depends on what you want to place the most emphasis on. And then going on to prioritization, this is a problem a lot of people face because a lot of people do many activities, but not all of them can be on a resume. Going back to what we said before, you don't want it to be like over a page. So pretty much there are three key things you want to take in regard with your activities. The first is leadership and growth. So did you go from, let's say, just being a writer on like a newspaper to becoming an editor? Showcase an activity where you changed over time, where you grew in positions, or you gained really valuable skills from. And it could be personal change or even a change in an organization that you went up the ranks, etc. So something that they want to see is that you show improvement, because if you're in the same position and compared to one where you gain through the ranks, you would prioritize that one over it. Also, something you want to take in regard is the time and effort you put into it. Compared to an activity that you only put 2 hours a week in, you would obviously prioritize one that you put 7 to 8 hours in, because you put all of your effort there, you put all of your time, it shows dedication, and you always want to prioritize above. Also, your impact. As you've repeated multiple times, you always want to quantify your impacts to the best of your abilities. So try to prioritize your activities based on the qualitative and quantitative achievements. So change in your community, nationally, internationally, awards, etc. Whichever activities you believe have the greatest impact on either your community, yourself, or you gain some sort of awards through it, you will want to prioritize those. But always keep in mind that these are just some of the suggestions on how to prioritize these activities. Sometimes there may be an activity that you haven't spent as much time on, or you haven't grown, showed growth in, but it's also a really essential part, or you believe it really encompasses who you are. So you want to put that on your resume as well.
So, as you may already know, many summer programs, especially competitive medical summer programs, will often require one or more recommendation letters as part of your application. Recommendation letters are especially important part of your application because they communicate a lot of revealing information about you to the admissions officers, including who they're looking for with students with impressive academic, personal, and social skills. In addition, recommendations also reinforce what's already in your application and resume, and especially personal letter can offer insight into your personality or other school experiences, and this could be extremely valuable. As per Mission San Jose's policies, if you're a student looking to request letters of recommendation from a teacher, you must ask 3 weeks prior to the due date with a resume and a cover sheet attached. And there's a whole page dedicated to this on Mission San Jose's school website under recommendation letters, summer enrichment programs. However, everything that was previously mentioned in the slideshow, such as prioritization, formatting, and common mistakes, is very important during this process and can be implemented within your resume and cover sheet in order to best maximize your potential recommendation letters.
Now we have a Kahoot for you guys. Okay. You can join here. we'll start now. Triage. You wanna-
Yes, or Kahoot's about cancer today. So yeah, a lot of people put leukemia, but it's actually skin cancer. That's the most common type of cancer. Oh, I thought I would stump a lot more of you there. Yeah, cancer occurs due to uncontrolled cell growth anywhere in the body, not controlled cell growth. Yeah, so leukemia is cancer of the blood. Angiosarcoma is a cancer that occurs in the lining of the blood vessels and the lymph vessels. Yeah, so the red one, apoptosis, was just a typo for apoptosis, kind of throw you guys off. Binary fission and mitosis are both types of like cell division. So apoptosis is the ability for normal cells to self-destruct. Yeah, so for those of you that put true, benign tumors don't spread throughout the body, but they are non-cancerous. Yeah, so there's over 100 different types of cancer. Yeah, so all of the above is not the answer. Fevers and fatigue are both symptoms of cancer, but itchy eyes are usually symptoms of allergies. So So yeah, everybody got this one right. It's true. Having a healthy diet and exercising a lot can lower your risk of developing lung cancer. So yeah, it's cancer prevention research is the area of research trying to identify the causing factors of cancer. Yeah, so for those of you that put true, I put studies don't show that processed foods have been linked to colon cancer, but studies have shown. So that's why it's false. Yeah, so it's not 30%. Tobacco actually causes around like 22% of the cancer-related deaths annually. Yeah, so these are all good ways to directly play your part in preventing cancer. So they were all right answers. Okay, congrats to the smiley face for getting 11 out of 12 and finishing first. Who was the smiley face? Huh. Well, I guess they don't want to be recognized for their talents. So if nobody else has any questions, then I think we can wrap this meeting up.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks for coming. We'll see you in the next meeting.